Marshall will be one of the 4 teams that gets the trophy here at Champaign this year. They got 4th place last year, and I'm sure that's not what they have in mind this time around. And Ron Nikovich, we have only seen two teams so far in the tournament. We've got 6 good ones to see yet, and here are 2 of them.
I have a feeling that this is going to be an excellent basketball game coming up. I think what we're going to be looking at is probably 2 teams of contrasting styles. Obviously, Peoria Central employing 3 guards, a center and a forward type player, versus St. Joe's very strong inside game. DARYL Thomas, Tony Reeder are about as fine a pair of 6'7" players as we're going to find anywhere. And their guard play is excellent. Robert Early is a very fine defensive player. Chris Buchanan at this point, of course, is the unsung player of this team. He plays excellent defense. He contributes to their team offensively speaking. And I think the fans are going to enjoy it when they see Tony Reeder, the 5'6" freshman, in it.
Ron, I'm going to put you in Chuck Bisher's spot, the coach of Peoria Central, for a moment now. You're playing the Chargers, who have 6'7" forwards, both of them very talented, as you said. You're obviously quite smaller than the Chargers. What kind of an attack do you look for? What do you want to do to negate that size and those 2 talented players?
I'd want to see what they could do in the open court in terms of a full court pressure kind of a situation. If not a full court, I'd at least employ a half court kind of a pressure situation. Try to open up the court a little bit and get those guys away from the basket.
How about St. Joe's outside game? Do they shoot the ball from the outside very well?
Renato Williams, the guard, is a very excellent outside shooter, while Robert Early won't shoot much at all. Tony Freeman, when he comes in, will make...
Rich Heller. Number 22, Chuck Edmonds. Number 32, Rick Thomas. Number 42, Bob Donaldson. Number 50, Tony Foote. Number 52, John Offit. And now let's meet the starting lineup for the Peoria High School Lions. At forward, a senior, 5'10", number 24, Tim Williams.
Williams averaging 7.1 and shoots 50%.
At forward, a senior, 6'5", number 34, Ivan Stone.
He can score against most anybody, averaging 17.5.
Starting in center for the Lions, a senior, 6'3", number 40, Lamont Hanson.
Averages nearly 12. He's very strong.
At a guard, a senior, 5'7", number 10, Steve Harvey.
This is the quarterback of the club. He runs the offense.
And a guard for the Lions, a senior, 5'10½", number 14, Tony Weisinger.
Weisinger, the Lions' top outside threat, shooting at 14 points a game. He had 16 points in the Super. Ivan Stone had 14 points in the Super. And those are the Peoria Central Lions of Coach Chuck Bisher.
And now let's meet the Chargers from St. Joseph High School in Westchester with a record of 26-4. The head coach of the Chargers in his 13th year at the school with a record of 245 wins, only 103 losses, Gene Pingator. Number 14, Tony Freeman. Number 20, Tim Connolly. Number 21, DARYL Thomas. Number 23, Chris Pickens. Number 25, Jeff Whaley. Number 31, Scott Gibler. Number 32, Chris Funches. And now let's meet the starting lineup for the Chargers of St. Joseph. At forward, a senior, 6'7", number 24, DARYL Thomas.
One of the thoroughbreds, averaging 14 points a game.
At forward, a senior, 6'7", number 33, Tony Reeder.
Leading scorer on the team, averaging 16.2. He's an all-stater.
Starting at center for the Chargers, a junior, 6'2", number 22, Chris Buchanan.
A top defensive player, averaging 7.3.
At a guard, a senior, 5'8", number 10, Renato Williams.
Renato Williams, 10, is a 5'8"
Chargers, a junior, 5'9", number 12, Robert Early.
And Robert Early, the other guard, is a 5'9" co-captain. He won't shoot much. They average 66 points per game.
The officials for this semifinal game are Matt Lorick of Aurora and Harry Bone of Clarendon Hills.
Can Peoria High hold on?
On to an 8-point lead. They're up against one of the state's best, St. Joseph Westchester.
I think the matchups here are interesting, too, in the sense that each team continues to play what amounts to 3 guards. And this is the first time I've seen St. Joe play their 3 guards with their 2 big kids together,
There's
which they've probably done before.
Ivan Stone just took it away from Tony Freeman and got it to Weisinger, and that's a big break for the Lions. As now Weisinger fakes the shot in his strip, and now Early takes the ball away. And Early makes a great play to Reeder, who's ahead.
Super body control. This is great body control in a play like that.
24 points for Tony Reeder. He and Ivan Stone have really celebrated some scoring. 24-22 Reeder. A 6-point Lion lead, and Weisinger comes up for Peoria Central. What a game.
Great game.
Stone inside, lost it off his hand. And now St. Joe can climb back to within 4. 4:33 to play.
It's a key possession now. The score, of course, would bring it down to 4.
Reeder!
Great pass.
What a
Great
spectacular
pass and a great catch. A tough pass and a great catch.
A backcourt foul there on Freeman. And Chuck Fisher talks to Tim Williams. Country Companies Insurance and presenting the IHA basketball tournament for the 12th consecutive year. And your local Country Companies agent hopes you're enjoying our telecast this afternoon and will be with us tonight at 7. We've got 4 teams tonight that are matched extremely well. We'll have Bennett Academy and Harvey Thornton in the first game. Springfield Lanphier and defending champion East St. Louis Lincoln in our second. Ivan Stone.
Well, if those 2 games are anything like the first 2, especially this one.
I think both of the second 2 will be like this one. Stone has 24. And there's the Lion lead. The clock says 4:17. It is one of the enemies of the Chargers now. Central's in the zone. Check it, DARYL Thomas inside. And Thomas has 10. Well, that was a quick score. 4-point lead. At the 4-minute mark, 4 points the difference. Harvey. Can the Lions hold off the Chargers? Baseline Weisinger. He's dangerous. He shoots. And a whistle. And he's fouled by Robert Early. Early committed his 3rd, and it would be a shooting foul. Big play in the game, Coach.
Yeah, it certainly was, and the free throw situation at this point is becoming an increasingly significant thing.
That's one of the things, Ron, you were talking about Weisinger doing a lot of things besides scoring. He forces you into defensive commitments you don't want to make, particularly at this point in the ballgame.
Right.
Weisinger converts his 10th point of the game. Chuck Fisher is telling Lamont Hanson to have the players play in front of Reeder and Thomas down low. Weisinger connects in the clutch. And the Lions lead by 6, but time is still plentiful. 3:47, and the Chargers let the ball bounce all the way up to half court before they touch it. Renato Williams. Ivan Stone sees somebody down the court. Weisinger, Hanson, fakes, and is fouled by Reeder. And the Lions made the transition work, and the Reeder's got the foul, his 3rd.
Here we see the long pass going in there, and I think that the second pass here was the key to the thing, which brought, of course, the foul and a good fake.
St. Joe says timeout. They trail by 6 at 3:34, and one of your network sponsors is John Deere. And Peoria, be proud. These are two superb basketball teams, and they have played to the 3:34 mark. 6 points separate them. Lamont Hanson, who is 5 out of 6 at the foul line in the game, goes for 2.
Central has knocked in 8 out of 9 fourth period free throws. That's Hanson's first miss, Frank. He hadn't missed prior to that one.
There's another. 57-50. But there still is time for the Chargers. They have the firepower. And Reeder is on a great roll. Renato Williams misses. DARYL Thomas answers.
Well, there's the key right there, because the Peoria zone is collapsing now, cutting off the inside game and forcing Williams to take that outside shot. The offensive rebound, of course, came at the right time.
12 points, DARYL Thomas. Pressure by the Chargers, man-to-man. Look at the ball hawking. Inside Hanson is hacked. Looks like by Early. Robert Early gets the first one. That'd be his 4th. There you see the call. The clock says 3:01.
There's the pass inside, and of course it seemed like the only thing that he could do in that situation was to draw that foul, and he got it on a 1-on-1 basis as well.
Hanson missed it, but Williams tipped it back out, and Central keeps the ball at 2:55, a 5-point lead. A knuckle whitener we've got here, I'll tell you.
What happened there at that last free throw, of course, was very critical. Missing the front end of the 1-on-1 and not getting the defensive rebound really hurts. That's the kind of thing that gives coaches great hairs.
From the middle track, 5'10", Tim Williams tipped that ball back out for Central, and they'll get another try at the foul line as Gene Pignator frowns and says, we needed that rebound. We needed to block him out. This is Tim Williams, and he missed. So the Lions have missed 2 straight at 2:51. Williams is a 52% foul shooter. Not his long suit. He missed a pair.
3 straight misses. St. Joe's got to capitalize now.
DARYL Thomas, he's inside and is hammered by Ivan Stone. It'll be a 2-shot violation. John Deere and your local John Deere dealer are very happy to have you with us this afternoon for this Class AA tourney. And be sure to join us again tonight at 7 o'clock. You won't want to miss the matchup then. Bennett Academy and Harvey Thornton. DARYL Thomas, a 65% foul shooter, has 2. A 5-point lead remains for the Lions. Thomas missed 2, and 5 free throws in a row have been missed in the game, and Central comes running down, but Williams decides to play it back out on the front court. The clock is now in favor of Peoria High. It's 2:29. Lob Williams down to 2:20. Timeout, Peoria Central with 2:19 to score. The Lions leading by 5, and one of your network sponsors is DeKalb Pfizer Genetics. Team free throws in the second half. The Chargers of St. Joe just shot their first 2 and missed them both. And with the ball, the Peoria Central Lions, Ivan Stone with it out of bounds. A straight line, red and white, alternating quick players, dots the court. Let's see what the plan will be. The Chargers might have to foul. They want to select somebody to foul. They'll probably take Tim Williams. He's a 52% foul shooter. These got here, right here with the ball. 2:05. Will they foul him? They didn't. Weisinger is an 80% shooter. They foul him.
Foul the wrong man.
Clock is stopped at 2:01. And Chuck Fisher says, use your head, as he points.
That's That's all for Robert Early.
Robert Early has just fouled out. A 5'9" junior who will be back next year, a co-captain, leaves the court for the Chargers. He fouled out with 6 points. Gene Pignator goes to the bench and finds 25, Jeff Whaley, a 5'9" senior. So Whaley comes on. Weisinger in the game has 11, has made all 3 of his previous free throws. Tony Weisinger is one of those athletes that likes the ball when the going gets tough, and all coaches like to have one.
He's a clutch player.
He just knocked in 2, and the Lions of Peoria Central lead by 7 at the 2-minute mark. Can the Chargers still make it back? Reeder turns and shoots. He missed it, but Renato Williams tipped it in. He's only 5'8".
Great anticipation there.
That is 6 points. We're down to 1:45. The Lions in the backcourt. Look at the defense by freshman Tony Freeman. But Harvey is equal to the task. Harvey to Weisinger. Central by 5.
Got to pick somebody to foul.
And here's Williams with the ball. Their poorest foul shooter on the court. 1:25 left. And there's the foul by DARYL Thomas, and he's gone.
That's it.
The second Charger to foul out of the game. And Ivan Stone will be the free throw shooter. There is DARYL Thomas. It's possible he has played his last moment as a high school performer. If that's true, his next coach will be Bobby Knight as he goes off. But the game is not over, believe me. He might play again in high school. 123 with a 5-point lead. No game is over at that stage, especially when teams have these kind of talented players. Chris Pickens will go in, 23, and say timeout. Timeout with 1:23 to go, and Peoria Central with a 5-point lead.
And our sponsors are happy to be able to bring you these tournament games on television. If you have any comments about our coverage, suggestions, and so forth, we'd like to hear from you. Just write High School Basketball, Box 678, Bloomington, Illinois, 61701. That's High School Basketball, Box 678, Bloomington, Illinois, 61701. Fine ball game, gentlemen. Going right to the wire as one might anticipate, but the foul problems, losing DARYL Thomas at this point, certainly a blow to Westchester St. Joseph. The Peoria Central really has shown me a lot of poise, Ron, particularly down the stretch. There was a point there where it looked like St. Joe was going to close the gap, making that run, but again, Peoria Central poise. They have gotten them over the hump in this one.
Probably at this stage of a particular ball game, when there are 3 guards on the floor, is a real telling factor, because that ball is really being controlled well. It's getting into the hands of the right people, and those guards are handling it out there, and they're handling it with poise and composure.
Chuck Fisher has done a fine job with this club. He sort of took a gamble. He was an assistant coach at Bradley University and had an opportunity for the head job at Peoria Central. And as Frank knows very well, an excellent baseball man in addition to his basketball talents. But we'll get a little more basketball to play here, Frank.
That's for sure. Ivan Stone is the shooter. And Stone has lit up the scoreboard for 24 points in the game. He is also perfect at the free throw line in 8 attempts. 9 for 9.
Just looking at Stone physically, one wouldn't think that he's played in a game like this. He just seems as relaxed as can be.
6'5", 170. He just very stylish, very calm, put them both home, and he can score against anybody. 61-54, Peoria Central, 1:20 to go. And now the Chargers need to get the ball to Renato Williams or Tony Reeder. There's Reeder, and it went off his hands and out of bounds.
Stone has dropped in 10 of 10 free throws in this ball game. Perfection at the line.
The 17th turnover on the Chargers. And a long pass down to Lamont Hanson for Peoria Central. Lamont is fouled by Reeder. And Peoria Central's quickness has really paid off in this game.
4 on Tony Reeder. Coach Pignator is really unhappy. As you can see,
Lamont Hanson will shoot 2.
Yeah, I think you could say Gene's a little riled at the moment.
He's now 3 for 5 at the foul line.
In the fourth quarter.
Right. Here comes Hanson again. And he missed 2. 7-point lead, but the clock says 1:05. 1 minute. Here's the shot. It is rolling good by Jeff Whaley. Whaley got it down. It's a 5-point lead. 53 seconds. Stone throws it the length of the court. Williams ahead. Williams goes all the way in and scores, and a count, and he's fouled.
Getting 2 shots besides. Could be a 4-point play.
Oh, they call an intentional foul on this. Let's take a look at it. Here comes Tim Williams, and there is the shot.
Well, it's kind of questionable on the intentional factor right there. I thought that he went after the ball cleanly, but that's what the official is paid to do. And of course, we have the possibility of a 4-point play here at a very crucial time in the ball game.
Now Gene Pignator is saying, why 2? Here's the free throw. It's up and in. And Gene Pignator wants to know why there's 2 shots after the basket counted. It's obviously because an intentional foul was called against the Chargers, and Tim Williams has a chance to make a 4-point play and give Central a 9-point lead, and he did it with 47 seconds to go. And that one may have been the refrigerator as the Charger threw it away.
That's just about it. That's just about it. And now, of course, Peoria will gain possession of the ball on the turnover here.
An obviously rattled St. Joseph team on that 4-point play there. And now Peoria High has a chance to salt it away. Ivan Stone is fouled outside. And the foul is on Tony Freeman, his 4th. Tremendous number of fouls racked up by the Chargers. Early is fouled out. DARYL Thomas is fouled out. There's 4 fouls on Freeman, 4 on Reeder.
25 fouls, Frank, have been whistled on St. Joseph in this one.
Ivan Stone has 26, now 27 in the game, and 11 in a row at the stripe.
Peoria Central has been whistled for 9 personals as compared to the 25.
Stone with 28, 11-point lead, and Peoria High will advance to play Marshall tomorrow at 11:15. Here's the shot. Left wing is down by Whaley. 67 to 58, 30 seconds left. Peoria Central is going to shoot some more free throws in a moment, you can imagine. Harvey swirls away from 2 men, and he's fouled by Renato Williams. 22 seconds is all that remains. And St. Joseph Westchester, which was turned away in the quarterfinals a year ago, and will be turned away in the quarterfinals again. Foul was on Whaley, his first.
You know, Ron, Peoria Central really doesn't foul a great deal. They're very, very quick.
Well, I think the quickness factor is the thing that has been the real deciding ingredient as far as this ball game is concerned, and has put St. Joe into that kind of a foul situation. Of course, people are prone to talk about the foul disparity and so forth, but I don't look at it that way. I think that there is a, as you mentioned and suggested, that Peoria Central is ultra quick.
And Central's been playing a lot of zone.
And they have.
Harvey makes 2 free throws. The Lions lead by 11 with 22 seconds to go. And Dennis Broadnax is in. And Steve Harvey is out. Now Foote comes on. And Lamont Hanson will go out for Peoria High. And there go the rest of the reserves for the Central Lions. 32 is Rick Thomas. 20 is Richard Heller. And 42, Robert Donaldson come in for the Lions. Now 32, Chris Funchess for St. Joe's, and there's Coach Fisher celebrating over on the sidelines as the Central Lions have landed with Marshall in the Final 4 of this great state tournament basketball competition. Who will be the other two? We'll find out. It's starting at 7 o'clock tonight, and your guess is as good as ours.
It'll be a great game tomorrow. The 11-15 game should be a great game.
Hope you won't miss it. Here's the shot way outside by the Chargers. It's rebounded by Renato Williams. He acrobatically sends it up and in.
Super move.
What a tremendous move.
Great effort.
10 seconds is all that remains. Broadnex is in the backcourt, and he is fouled. Broadnex is fouled by the Chargers, and let's see, it's Tim Conley who committed the foul. Now coming in, DARYL THOMAS, 21. Now he's not going to be able to come in. So Peoria High led 16-14 at the quarter. 28-26, a 2-point halftime advantage. Then outscored the Chargers 16-8 in the third period, and now have hung on 69-60. And for the Lions, or for the Chargers, I should say, 31, Scott Gibler comes in, and Renato Williams goes out for the last time in his senior year. Broadnex makes the free throw. He's hit 3 out of 3. Gene Pignator, another fine year, will close at 26-5. You know he's disappointed, but you know they did superbly well all year long.
They had a great season. They certainly did, and they were under, I think, a degree of pressure that no high school team deserves, really, when they're given that #1 in the nation status in October before a ball is ever rolled out.
Chuck Edmonds comes in for Peoria High, and a shot at the gun by Conley does not go, and that's the end of the game, as Peoria Central High School has won over Westchester St. Joe by a final score of 71-60. That puts the Lions now at 27-3. It puts the Chargers season finale at 26-5, and there's some of the cheering going on for the Lions fans and cheerleaders who are celebrating. And here is a quick wrap on the scoring in this game. Tony Reeder, a brilliant 26-point performance to lead St. Joe. DARYL THOMAS with 12. Renato Williams with 8. Robert Early with 6. Chris Pickens with 4. Jeff Whaley with 4. For the winners, the Peoria Central Lions, Ivan Stone had 28 big points and was perfect in 12 free throw attempts. Lamont Hanson in double figures with 10. Tony Weisinger with 13. Tim Williams with 8. Steve Harvey with 8, Dennis Broadnex with 4, balance all around, and an absolutely superb performance by Peoria Central, and they had to play that well, Coach Nigovich, in order to turn away St. Joe.
They got the great effort, of course, from Ivan Stone, and I was very, very impressed with Tony Weisinger. I think he's really the clutch player that everyone has said he is, but I think I'd like to particularly give credit to Lamont Hanson, who I thought did a really great job on the boards, in particular getting the key rebounds that they needed to have at key time in the game.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. So that's the story for the first quarterfinal. Marshall is our first winner. Peoria Central is our second. This is Frank Massoni for Art Kimball and Coach Ron Nikovich, asking you to join us again tonight at 7. Once again, the final score, Peoria Central 71, St. Joseph Westchester 60. We'll see you tonight at 7. So long.